No. We'll do it again. And you know what you have. You know what you have to do. Right. You two. One. We're back in the room.
Good evening. We're back in Barovia. It's been a little while, so we'll have just a very quick refresh and then we'll just jump straight in.
Sounds good.
You guys have done some stuff, questionable things in this town. You started off by being whisked away to a murder house. You then fought your way through that quite aggressively, lost one of your own, gained a new person, decided to start helping a couple of people with a trip from Barovia village to Vallaki. Bought some pastries from an old woman, ate the pastry from an old woman, had a little bit of a trip, saw orc wars, campfire, drinking mead, and then back to wars again, and then you woke up. You then promptly went to a tavern and recruited the aid of a Vistani fellow named Sorvia. You paid him 12 gold pieces to have his wagon and assistance with escorting your party to the town of Vallaki. He had advised you he is heading a very short way down the route to Vallaki, but he's happy to take you as far as he's going before you need to part ways. And we pretty much left off, you had all just left the village of Barovia, so it's you three, it's Ismark and Irina, and then the wagon being pulled by several horses with Sorvia sort of at the reins. You guys are travelling along this route here, heading down and around. It's not a nice road. It's grim. It's still that continuous grey, overcast sky. The trees around you look like they have the potential to be nice and vibrant, but they are very withered and kind of almost greying out a little bit. But you do get the general sense this is still a lively forest. There are still creatures around. You do hear the occasional noises off in the distance, but the rumbling of your carts and the horses huffing and their hooves on the ground is more than enough to keep everything at a pretty safe distance. So you're fairly confident that you're quite safe, and it's still quite early in the day as well. So as you're coming up to the point where it's going to be the brightest that it will be, which is still not very bright. As you guys are traveling, you realize just how vast this region would be. You've only had sort of brief descriptions here and there of at least Barovia and its very rough surrounding area. But as you start to travel through, you leave the comforts of the decrepit village behind you, and you can actually now much clearer see off in the distance towards the north huge sets of mountains, pretty similar to the south, and the sky just kind of disappears off to the west. You can't even see anything over there in terms of the landscape, but you assume it's probably continuing mountains that go on for a long way. While you are travelling, Irina is up at the reins with Sorvia, the Vistani fellow that you paid to help with this trip. The rest of you are all walking down beside the wagon. You can choose which side you want to be on, if you all want to be on one or if you want to split up either side of it. It's up to you. But it's been pretty quiet. Just that rumbling of the wagon so far and the subtle noises of animals off in the distance. Irina is sat there very quietly, contemplating this trip ahead. Ismarks seems quite skittish as you guys are walking. He's the one that's constantly got his hand on the hilt of his sword, and he's looking around and being very cautious, much more so than Sorvia is. He's just enjoying the ride. Would any of you like to say anything or ask any questions while you take this trip?
Above, are we all on the same side, or are we different sides?
I suppose we can always be
either side abreast of the horses, so we can talk across
Okay.
a non-physical, you know,
Okay.
side.
Who's on what side?
Yeah, I'll take left, right.
I'll take mine.
So left, right, right. Keeping aside, please.
Left.
Left. Okay. If you take Ismark, I'll go with Kotasha.
Sounds good.
Cool.
We have an Ismark, and we'll just use one of these for Sylvia. I don't have one for Irene.
How could
Oh,
you?
you can't.
She's next.
Oh, she's got an impressive beard.
We'll use the
Use the cat.
displacer beast
Oh,
card as,
cute.
as Irina for now,
She's so
until I
cute.
crack the box back
A
open.
little baby.
But yeah,
Anyone want to talk?
I'm gonna be singing to myself.
Oh god.
I'll be honest, I think I'll just be sort of, based on sort of how I got here, I think I'm not cautiously looking off out into the woods, but sort of going, did I come down this way? Was it this way? Just trying to see something that may resemble anything that I can remember from when I first arrived in Barovia. Just saying, does that tree look familiar? Or is it that one? Yeah, that'll be.
He's talking to himself.
What? I think he's crazy.
Yeah. I'm getting that vibe.
Pretty much. But yeah, I think I'll
He's
just
your
be.
friend.
From when we were young.
Still your friend.
Family friend.
as you guys are riding along, you guys are whispering and looking over at it's Lucian, isn't it? Who's looking around at the trees and Sorvia just up the top. You guys catch a little glimpse of him, and he's managing the carriage all normally, but he's looking at you all like. I'm sensing some tension.
I don't know this guy.
So what, mate?
You all seem very not at ease with each other.
Nah. This one's still coming down from a pastry. I am trying to. I may be talking to myself, but I'm trying to remember how I got here and if I come across anything familiar. And I'll be honest, all I can remember is nothing but trees. Very unlikely I will remember the exact tree. So.
Yeah, these woods can be a little disorienting for the most part. All these trees will look the same, but everyone will look different. It doesn't matter if you've seen it before or not. But, I take it you're newly together, all of you?
Whoa.
You know? Hey, listen, I don't know what you're implying.
I'm not here. I'm not here for that.
Well,
They might be. I don't really know what's going on with them.
I bumped into these two, probably less than 24 hours ago, and they were looking for.
That's why we've rested.
Yeah, yeah, we slept.
But it's only 8 hours.
But 8 hours
Yeah,
late.
once.
So yeah, it's like less than 24 hours, pretty much. Yeah, no, I bumped into them. I'm familiar with one, but the other one is
Not me.
yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's answered nothing and everything.
Yes,
Oh,
at
calm
once.
down.
But, you were heading to Valaki.
that's the plan.
Okay.
Who's asking?
I mean, I am your escort.
Well, you got
I
me
mean,
there.
part of the
We
way.
did pay me.
You got me there.
I mean, it is quite a distance. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned, I am heading to my camp. You're welcome to join if you like. Have a bit of a rest before you continue on.
You said it was a 3/4 day ride.
About a day.
Yeah. Well, if it's if you've set up somewhere, then it'll be a good place to perhaps put our heads down for the day and then carry on.
We'll have tents fire, water,
Yeah.
everything you could need. and
Thank you for offering.
Then you can set off. I want to be joining, of course, once I am back at camp. That's me. But we can point you in the right way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there food?
Camp outfit time.
Is there food
Yeah, I'm sure.
and meat?
Well, of course, there's meat. You don't have food, no meat. What is this?
Don't worry, we don't have to be eating shoes again. Sorry, it's fine.
It's alright. I'd just like to get some jerky again, to be honest.
Well, we have enough packs.
I
That will-
thought your food was delicious.
Hey, it was extremely flavoursome, but
It had an interesting texture.
No buts.
That's what happens when you put the laces
Do they
in
like
as
butts?
well.
No
And,
cuts, no butts, no coconuts.
what's a coconut?
What's that?
What the hell's a coconut?
I'm glad you got that. Just left it coconut.
Sylvia settles into a seat even more, having a little bit more of a chat with you guys and seeing you less confused and cautious of each other. And he just sits back and is just going to enjoy while you guys have like your little bit of a conversation and continue on
Oh, mad bounce.
a little way. He just enjoys your mad bands. You guys quite soon after that hit right here a large river. It's about maybe 40-50 foot wide, and it seems relatively calm where you are, but further down west you can hear and see where it starts to get a lot more like a rapids. It gets a lot more violent and you can really hear it. You can tell it's not something that you would like to take a swim in. There is a large stone bridge stretching the entire way, all the way across this water. It does look partially crumbling, like some rocks have fallen off of the walls, but the actual base of it, very, very sturdy. You guys trot on over that bridge and continue on your way. As you do, the woods get a little bit darker, the trees are a little bit larger on this side, and you can tell that you're moving much more into the denser portion of the forests. While in here is where you begin to actually hear the howls of wolves, and you can hear the like cracking occasionally of branches that aren't close enough to be visible or to immediately be a threat, but you can tell that there are unseen creatures in the woods that could very well be watching you. And you definitely feel that sense of eyes on you, and it's very hard to discern if it's 1 or 100.
Bloody woodpecker.
But as you continue on there, you travel for a good few hours.
While we're walking through the thicker, darker trees, can I just like shuffle closer? Just so we're walking along with it.
Don't think there's ghosts.
It seems like there's ghosts.
I don't think there's ghosts.
Ghosts won't break branches.
How can you hear us?
Do you
A
realise?
ghost!
Do you realise how loud she is? Her whispering is normal talk.
To be fair, even I can hear her up here. But I wouldn't worry, no ghosts.
Okay.
No ghosts, no.
Maybe a zombie.
Only living things.
Ah, zombies I'm fine
would
with.
get
Zombies
you.
are physical and I can smack them. Ghosts.
Smack.
Ghosts I cannot. Phases right on through.
You continue on a little ways more. Nothing comes out at you, nothing is like an immediate threat. It's just that kind of consistent feeling of being watched. But quite quickly after that, you reach a crossroads. So you guys are over here. You see it going southwest and beginning to slowly climb an incline. The northwest, sorry, Cuts through some trees, starts to dip down as if it is going downhill a ways, and quickly disappears out of view. In between the two of them, where it does split, there is a very small brick wall, and you do see that behind this brick wall, a little ways over, is an old wooden gallows. As you kind of lock eyes on it, the carriage does start to come to a bit of a stop. You're about 20 foot away, and there is this perfectly timed, cold, unnaturally cold breeze that drifts past, and the rope that's slightly frayed on the end hanging off this gallows just sort of flows a little bit, and you can hear the creaking of the tight rope as it moves and the actual wood of the gallows. Next to where these gallows are, you can see a large signpost pointing in 3 directions, saying Barovia Village, pointing east in the direction you have just come from. Sir Paul, northwest, and then Ravenloft / Valarki to the southwest. You notice as you kind of get a little closer before having to pick a direction to go, behind this wall there are definitely mounds of muds, and you can almost immediately tell that these are graves. It's a very small sort of graveyard, and about 11 or so of these mounds are present. The wagon comes to a complete stop, and you guys have a moment here, and it kind of, you can continue to hear the noise and the life of the forest around you, but it's almost muted a little bit, and sort of the louder thing that you hear is the slight wind and the creaking of the gallows. And it's a very, although it's quite natural to see something like this, especially in this type of setting, you feel like a harrowing kind of weight on you in this area, if anyone wants to do anything. After a pause for a moment, Sorvia sat there. Just, well, camp's down Sir Paul. If you'd like to join, you can, like I said. Otherwise, we head southwest and follow the road all the way, and eventually reach Valarki.
Based on sort of timing we left, and I know obviously you can't really see much of the sun, would you say we've travelled a significant portion into sort of like the afternoon sort of section?
Yeah, it's sort of, it's kind of early afternoon. You can definitely tell that the sun has had its peak. It's ever so slightly beginning its darkening phase again. It's still very early on. From the few days you guys have spent here, you estimate you've probably got about maybe 5 hours or so of a decent amount of light before it gets a bit too dark, like needing torches or dark vision to see. So one of you that has it.
I guide the way.
But yeah. So you guys are sat there. What would you like to do?
Excuse me. Oops, I don't.
You
Sorry,
just
the
can't
one of
see.
you, one of you that doesn't.
Thanks.
I got these guys over here. You're just a regular guy.
So I'll turn to him and say, well, if we come down to your encampment, do we have to come back up the same way to continue on to Valarki, or is there a shortcut that cuts through back onto Main Road?
We have. It's not quite a road. That you can on foot. You can get through. We've made a bit of a cut through for you.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut a bit of time out.
Well, I suppose there's
Love
no
saving
harm.
time.
Yeah, we'll definitely make our way down to the pool.
Mead.
We might have some wine.
That's fine. It's alcoholic. It'll do.
But yeah, I'm happy. The shortcut, even if we don't stay, the shortcut is definitely going to save us some time.
Lovely. And he whips the reins and begins to move the carriage off to the northwest. Northwest? Northwest.
The light said no.
As you set off, you do all hear, like, you can again hear the slight rumbling of the horse's footsteps and the wagon itself, but you hear an unnatural volumed creaking of that gallows rope and the wood. You hear it from behind you as you're leaving, and as you all look, what is now there instead of the frayed rope, you can see a lifeless corpse hanging cracked by the neck. As the wind blows, it just rotates round so you can see its eyes. You two, you both see this sort of elderly-ish woman, sort of 40s, 50s, but she looks like her skin has sagged on the skeleton. She looks like she would have been hung here maybe a couple of weeks ago and is beginning to rot. Kasara, as you turn around and look, you see that exact same sort of visage, but you see yourself hanging at the gallows with your skin dragging down for a moment.
Interesting.
The wagon is continuing on, not paying any heed to it.
Can I be like, oh, did anyone else see that? Wasn't there before?
The old lady.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I was the half daydreaming.
She wasn't there when we were at
No,
the
it
sign.
was just empty rope and noose.
What do you guys see?
The old lady.
It's an old thing. Oh, what do you see?
Oh, lady. Obviously.
Okay. Can I turn to the driver? I forget his name.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, and be like, is that normal?
He doesn't turn around. He just kind of like looks a little towards his shoulders, like, I wouldn't pay any heed. Sometimes it's best to just not buy into it.
Okay.
Let's side
With him saying that and just nonchalantly brushing that off, I'd like to try and insight check him effectively to see whether, not that he's lying, but perhaps he's not telling the whole truth to a degree.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is a 12.
You don't know him well enough to be able to tell if he's hiding information or anything like that. You can tell that he doesn't seem to enjoy talking about it or want to.
Am I determining him being genuine in what he's saying,
seems
or
to,
that
yeah.
it's that he's holding something back a touch, perhaps?
It seems genuine as far as you can tell, yeah. Yeah, you guys carrying on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna step back like 2 paces. And she's gonna have her hand to her neck and just sort of like, absent-minded grabbing it.
Yeah.
And just like staring like, oh god. What the fuck is that?
You take your time. You
Yes, I
take your
do.
time doing that, and then sort of try to brush it off. That feeling hangs for pretty much the whole route.
Unintended.
That is an approved pun.
You guys then continue on the ever so slight downward slope towards Paul. It's about a mile of travel.
So, Paul.
Paul. As you guys head down to here.
Is it actually a pool?
So as you approach it, it's not a pool. It's a it's on the riverbank. You assume it's the same river you saw earlier because it's similar size. It's about 40-50 foot across. This seems to have calmed down again. You can hear that same rushing water now off to the east. You sort of have circumvented around a lot of the drops, and the water is starting to drop off of a very small waterfall. It's maybe like 6-7 foot tall. Has a bit of a splash and then comes downstream nice and calm past an encampment.
This is something I've done earlier. You're not having your heart attack moment. This is something you've done earlier.
So you guys, this is the road, that's the riverbank.
Okay.
These are all tents.
Mm-hmm.
The hexes of tents, wagons, and that one's a bigger tent.
I'm guessing the thing with the red is the fire.
Yes, there's a large campfire in the middle, and if you couldn't tell, my greenish squiggle blobs are the trees. They are where they are denser. There are trees all over this place, but most of them are thin. You can navigate around. Those ones are the ones that are
A bit thicker.
almost like a wall. You could walk through, but there is no way of getting a wagon
Those
through
are
them.
some good looking water trees.
Thank you. I tried. Sat there at 10 p.m. squiggling my green.
Oh my god.
Green pen.
Thank you.
As you guys sort of pull in along this road, you hear the camp long before you see it. Because you can hear the bustling of about 10 to 12 people. Most of them sat around the campfire. There's about 6 people around this campfire lounging on. They look similar to bedrolls, but they are much, much larger, like
Beanbags.
yeah, okay. they're in
Magical
These
beanbags.
6 people are lounging on wilderness beanbags, and one of them is stoking the fire. You can see a couple of them are just sort of relaxing, eating what looks like undiscernible meat on a skewer.
Mhm.
4 of them are drinking. They have wooden mugs that you can't quite tell what it is, but from the looks on their faces and their flushed skin tone, you assume it's probably alcoholic.
Mhm.
You can see one more person at the entrance to the larger tent over there, just sort of stood around. You can't quite tell if they may be on guard,
Mhm.
but they seem like they're not partaking in the revelry. The others, you can hear them in tents and near wagons, like unloading things and packing things away. As you all start to pull in, you drift on into the actual campsite. Sorbia hops off and starts untying the horses, sort of putting blocks down by the wagon's wheels and making it very stationary, making it very secure. Just sort of waits for you guys to all sort of pile up Irina to get down, and Ismark immediately goes to her side, checking she's okay and things like that, seeing what she needs. And then Sorbia approaches you all and is like, this is the camp. Make yourselves at home. If you are hungry or thirsty, then just ask one of us. Obviously it's our drink and our food, but we want to help as much as possible.
It's I wouldn't want to think we're taking advantage of your hospitality or good nature. Is there anything that needs to be done, collecting of firewood in preparation for this evening, or?
If you'd like to get some wood, that would be great. Or if anyone is adept at fishing, you can get a jump start on getting some food.
You can pick things.
I
You
was
can
saying,
spear things.
I was about to say, perhaps I'd like to see you swing at a fish with an axe.
Yeah.
Let's start with wood then.
As long as the body is somewhat intact, enough to eat. Make it edible, at least. Or don't crush the heads. Try to keep them. They make a very good soup.
Okay.
But yes, otherwise make yourselves comfortable. And he gestures over toward the larger tent, and as he does, you look, you see the fellow that stood outside look over towards you, and Sorbia's like, it's okay. He kind of waves him off, and he says to you, that is our leader. You may want to go and just check in with her, let her know that you're here as well, and then after that feel free to help out and drink and eat and rest up.
Thank you.
And he just walks around to the back and he starts unloading some things from his wagon.
Okay.
What would you guys like to do?
Should we say hi?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I suppose make our way over to the larger tent. Ismark, are you coming with us?
I think he's unloading the.
Ismark's going to stay back and help unloading with Sorvia. Irina, she goes to go with you, and Ismark's like, no, stay with me. You're not leaving my sight, especially now.
Okay.
And then she.
I
she
mean,
heads
that's pretty
back.
fair.
As you approach, the guy that's there literally just immediately opens up a curtain. He's like, go on in if you want.
Intent. And dead.
So if you could all now just roll me some new characters, that'd be.
Yeah, what you didn't realise is the tent is a mimic.
It's a
We've
sphere
just,
of
walked,
an eye.
we've just walked into the mouth of a mimic.
So, magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table.
I'm like, I'm not burning, I'm already.
You're on fire. Revealing a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball that is on the table as a hunched figure of an elderly woman is sat behind it. Her voice, you can hear in her breathing, is very raspy, very crackly. And she looks up at you through her kind of frazzled hair. One eye is half closed, one is wildly open, where you can see the entirety of the white of her eye, and she kind of looks up like, looking at you.
Sup?
And she's going, "At last you've arrived!" And then just begins to cackle a little bit. And after a few seconds of cackling, she sort of, you can see her hands as she kind of gestures out like that for you to sit. The actual bones of her fingers are incredibly thin and her knuckles are huge. She looks very...
Old hag.
So we're talking
Very
like
old
Harry Potter wand,
haggish.
thin, massive lump,
Yeah,
thin,
yeah,
massive
yeah.
lump.
It's giving
The
Dumbledore's
yeah.
wand.
I can't remember whose wand it
Kind of
was,
thing,
but I
yeah.
remember one being like
She's
that.
got fingers of an elder wand.
Yeah.
Yes.
As she gestures to some seats that are sat in front of her.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
I'll take the one in the middle.
Cool, so you're sat immediately opposite
Dead
her.
in front.
Going left.
I'll go right.
You don't really have a choice.
Yeah, that's the only one
Take
that's
the
left.
last seat.
I'm going to go even further
I'm
left.
going to stand over in the corner.
No.
She eyes each of you up a good amount, an uncomfortable amount, and it feels like her, like she's looking into you, like completely
Wow.
through your actual vision. And as she's looking around, she's just sort of, green. Yes. You look like a green tea kind of girl.
I'm not supposed.
And then she leans over and you can hear her bones like cracking as she's moving. And she grabs a teapot and starts pouring out a cup of green tea and hands it over to you. And then she's just kind of like, no. She starts to pour another one for each of you as well. Pops them down, pours herself one, has a good sip, very uncomfortable. It's like,
Can I, under my breath, when she hands the drink to us, be like, "Oh, I'm not green tea woman, that's my presumptuous of you." Actually, this is quite nice.
just like, actually. As you do that, she's just like, I put a bit of mead in your one.
Oh, nice.
We all know that Cortesia loves to drink.
I do.
I haven't sipped mine yet. That's just on that.
Drink up, it's okay.
You want me to try yours first?
You seem to be a very wise woman. May I ask, how did you come
Yeah,
about
that's
the
fine.
names?
Just tastes like tea.
Ah, dearie. I know a lot of things.
Does she, can I do a perception check to see if
Wait,
she
just
looked
on the-
like... No, to see if she resembles the old woman that we saw hanging.
You can do a check if you like. She's given a different vibe in general.
But I want to see if, like, physical
Yeah,
attributes...
Well, she just clocked your name without even us introducing.
Well, yeah, so that's why I'm wondering if maybe, like...
Hence why I was like,
Have you drunk the tea?
no.
Okay.
I've gone like this, and then
16.
she said Cortesia. I'm like,
She's also
How
drunk
you-
mine. so
how do you know our names?
You don't notice nearly any similarity between the two of them. They do look wildly different.
All old ladies look the same to me.
But
After that tree,
Yeah.
you just drunk
and
it.
then after you asking, she just taps on the side of her head. Being, I know so many things.
I must have to pick your brain. What else do you know?
Oh, would you like to know?
Ah, well, it's intriguing.
And then she sort of very creepily strokes her fingers over the top of this ball in front of her. He's like, I can see what will come.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you prefer the ball or the cards?
Well, I prefer my own ball, so cards, please.
I just like listening to be funny.
And then she withdraws from under her, like, rags, a very, very filthy looking deck of cards. Some of them are ripped and they're sort of some of them are starting to split, but they have a certain elegance about them.
I've seen this game before. I think it's called Uno.
No, I think it's called Chase the Ace.
Where's the ace?
She's going to hustle us for money.
And she's going to fan them out, give them a bit of a shuffle, and kind of she moves them around very gracefully. Like she's definitely well practiced with
Her sleight of
with
hand is
doing
on
this.
point.
Yeah.
Can I really eagerly just like watch her doing it like?
Yeah. And she splays them out sort of in a crescent moon, face down, on the
She's clearly
table.
been to Vegas.
Yahtzee!
And then
Did I win?
Yes.
How many cards are down?
just pick a card.
I'm allowing fate to decide. So how many cards?
Can you talk?
Above table.
Can you talk
Fi-
louder as
only
well
5
above
cards.
table?
Alright, so we take off the 6. I'll take card number 1.
Grab the very first one. She goes, yes, place it on the table. Place it down, and it comes up as the one of swords. And she goes, yes, and another.
Take number 4.
She places this one on the table. You have the 5 of glyphs. She goes, and one more.
Number 3.
You have the 2 of stars. And she lays them out, and she's looking at them very intently.
There we go.
No, it's
No,
on the
it's on
top
your
though.
shirt.
Son of a...
Kill it!
Nice that. I think you got it.
Yeah.
That was a classy
She straight up does that.
Yeah, just
She's
like, just
looking
out of nowhere.
She's looking, focusing on the cards, and then right next to your head, just and wipes a massive insect out on her leg. Do you see it?
1, 5, 3. 1, 5, 2, sorry.
1, 5, 2, yes. But do you see the meaning in the cards?
What was the second card again?
That was the 5 of glyphs.
So, I'm guessing sword beats glyph, glyph beats star, star beats sword. Is it rock, paper, scissors, but a new version?
No, it's a different game, my dear.
Oh, okay.
This is your future, you see.
I get a sword. I don't use swords.
You will.
While she's explaining this, I'm not going to do very well. Can I just roll a straight intelligence check to just see if I can just randomly have the knowledge for it? Like, yes, I see it. So basically, the 1 of swords means this.
Is this like an
Give me
amnesia moment
intelligence.
where every single neuron is firing at the precise moment for you to go, I
You
know
know,
this.
you know that meme of that woman where it's like got all the numbers and all the mathematics
Yeah,
symbols.
yeah. Working out trajectories and
I've given a roll. If you roll higher than me,
Okay.
that's how we'll set the DC.
16.
Okay, she got 16 as well. So you look at it, and for some reason it just matches. Something in your brain. You can just kind of tell
Just connect
the
the
rough
dots.
kind of vibe. What does Cortesha believe this vibe is?
I think what was it? The
sword,
1 of swords.
sword,
Glyph,
glyph.
stars.
Star.
1 of swords, she thinks, well, it's a man with a sword, so he's going to fight and he's going to win. The 5 of glyphs, what are glyphs? They're like,
Like
magical
runes,
glyphs, yeah.
runes, glyphs. Same premise.
what do they actually look like? Do they look like runes or do they look like coins?
They're like depictions of like geometric shapes within a circle with like various points around.
Think of like the mandalas.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Magic
immediately that
mandala.
she's going to be like, well, you're going to get some sick tattoos. And then, what was the other one?
The two
Stars.
of stars.
2 of stars. And then you're also going to meet someone really famous.
But stars in my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you
Is
say
that
the
right?
first one was?
That he's going to fight someone and win because there's some man with a sword.
Cool. As you look back over at her and she's like,
Did she guess right?
somehow yes.
On all of them or just the first?
Well, yes, see. And she gestures down to the first and goes, you are going to have a difficult path ahead of you. Fraught with death and despair, but if you choose correctly, you will overcome it. And then she moves to the second.
So always choose a sword.
She moves to
Magic
the.
man.
She moves to the second card, the five of glyphs, and she looks over at you, Cortesh, and is like, "You will have marks in a way,
Tattoos!
markings of a warrior, or perhaps the scars of fatal damage."
Mm.
And then goes to the third card, the 2 of stars. Looks at you again.
You're going to meet someone famous.
You are going to meet somebody very famous.
Oh.
Deadly.
What can I say?
Someone who could be your famous
Very good at
assistant,
this.
perhaps.
Again?
Would you like to, my dear?
Yeah.
She repeats the process, fans out these cards and lays them all down and asks you to pick 3 of them.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
I'm going to grab whatever ones.
Okay. So it's going to come up with the 7 of swords for your first.
Oh, lots of fighting. Nice.
The 9 of glyphs and the 1 of stars.
I'll get many tattoos.
Yeah.
And I meet
So you
someone
mean a minor
not
celebrity?
so famous.
Minor celebrity.
She goes through a reading for you and pretty much gives a very similar style of reading that you're
I'm very good at
explaining
this.
that you are going to be encountering a lot of trouble coming up. You're going to be marked in some form or another. You are going to meet somebody. And kind of leaves.
Hold out for love.
Romantically?
My dear, I don't see romance in you.
Oh. Damn it. Your turn.
Above. If I use the ball, can everyone else see the ball? Can everyone else see what's happening with the ball, or is it just me and her?
They'll be allowed in the room.
Yeah, but can they
You
see
as-
what I see?
You assume as much.
Yeah.
But also
you
it's
don't
more-
know.
It's more
Okay.
fun for me to guess.
You just.
I can guess everything.
Once again, you do as you think. Unless
If
you're
you wanna go
aware
with
of
the
what
ball.
this crystal ball does, you think, oh, perhaps that may. I don't know.
She doesn't. She has no knowledge of this. But I'm going to go different to you two.
Yeah.
So, can you get the ball, please?
I've got those. Gathers up the cards, tucks them away, and she
Brings
goes
out more
around for a
balls
little
and
while,
plays
sort of
Patanki.
like doing the preparation. She kind of starts lighting incense, and they're in like the what are they? Like the incense burners that are on in like a chain ball
Oh, yeah, the ones
You know,
on-
that you would swing,
I forget what they're called.
like an incense box, but
Yeah.
it's
I get what ones you mean, but I can't remember.
those things. I forget what they're called.
Vuvuzela.
She lights the vuvuzela.
Oh no, Vuvuzela's the horn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just lights.
And she gets up from her chair and walks around and is hanging these up around the table, and you're getting this sort of like layer of smoke that slowly drops down and coats the floor.
Maybe I should have chosen the cards.
And she slides this crystal ball on its stand into the middle of the table. And she starts to rest her hands on it, like, your hands, my dear. And gets you to place them there. And as soon as you touch the crystal ball, you can feel her hands like grasping on top of yours.
You know, like that old knobbly hands.
Then it's like it's knobbly. Her fingers are wrinkled, very almost leathery. They're cold.
Salad fingers.
It's-
Just.
I like it when the crystal ball.
It's rusty.
Very salad finger-esque. And like you can feel the pressure of her holding your hands tightly against the bull, and she kind of gets down low and looks into it, like, have a look.
Not you.
I know, but I'm guessing.
As you get close,
can't see shit.
the first thing you notice is her like wide open eye kind of refracting through it, so you can see her eye massive, but it's almost like it's not going into the bull. It's like her eyes from the bull looking at you directly. It's
Well, that's
insanely creepy. And then it kind of mists over.
Can we see any of this? Are we just looking both doing this?
You see them both looking just very intensely at the ball. You see the refracting, like
Oh, we do see the
depending
refraction.
on like the way you go, you see it, but it's not as
Paintings
creepy
that
to
follow
you.
This is
But
very
you don't see
intense.
any smoke or anything like
Yes,
that.
we're in a tent.
This sort of cloudiness on the inside of this ball begins to part ways, and she is holding your hands onto
Oh,
this ball
we're
as
still
it's
there.
happening.
It's a very intimate moment for you.
You see what looks like, you can almost hear a little bit of a giggling noise, and you begin to see what looks like two relatively young children playing in a street. Almost like they're maybe running away from each other kind of thing, like playing tag or something like that, and giggling as they do before it kind of clouds over. And then it comes back again, but one of the children's much older and has a much more of a resemblance to you. By yourself, just sort of in a tavern, see a much younger version of yourself as well. Clouds over again, and then it seems to drift to a figure of somebody. And you can see they're wearing a cloak. It's very hard to make out facial features. You can see a very gaunt kind of nose and jaw and cheeks as this figure kind of turns, almost looking towards you, looking out of the ball. You can't quite make out exactly who it is, but this person looks a good bit older. It fades again, and then the cloudiness kind of stays, but you can hear this very subtle sound of someone crying. And then it just starts to drift off again, and you just see her eye again staring, and she's like,
Okay. Anything else? Okay. She's gonna try and like underneath her hands.
slide away.
Yeah, so she's gonna try and rip them away.
It's like, it almost feels like it's very difficult to, but really easy to. Like her hands, like she's got a really strong grip, but she's also coated in Vaseline. Like it's really difficult.
KY.
It's really difficult but easy to do it.
Okay, so I do that, and you're just going, what the fuck was that?
Sorry, she swigs her green tea. That is what may come for you, dear. One future, possibly. Definitely a past. But it all depends on what you take from your present.
I'm gonna step outside.
Okay, bye.
You hop out. What do you two do?
I'm staying there.
Yeah, well, my original thought of coming in here rather than getting a tarot card reading was to sort of say, hey, we're here, where's the hand axes? We'll go chop some wood, but got sidetracked.
She kind of... Are you saying that?
Yeah, well, no, not so much, but if she's finished doing the reading, I go,
She's finished with the bull portion.
Hmm.
Like, you can continue on if you'd like to.
well, thank you. I must pick your brain a bit more, because I imagine with you must have a wealth of knowledge and
Oh, yeah.
years of learned sort of understanding of Barovia. But
I can also teach you how to do the cards.
you can do that on the road.
Like, as you joke around with it, she just, yes, some of us have an affinity towards it.
I feel you, sister.
Make yourselves at home here.
Thank you.
I'm going to catch you some fish.
If the others ask, you let them know that Madam Ava has said it's okay for you to stay.
Thank you. We talking to your companyman who brought us here, and I feel the need not to be a burden. Is there any tools around to be able to go cut some firewood, some lumber for this evening?
She mentioned, like, you know, there's
A store tent
like
somewhere.
firewood log, fire axes, the axe to cut the firewood.
Yeah. Okay. So felling axes.
Felling axes.
Also, I do have a great axe.
Yeah, but you're
I know, but
fine.
you're hitting with fish. You're going for fish.
I can grab them with my bare hands.
This
I
is
don't think
true.
I'm strong enough to hold your
Your
axe.
great axe is great at felling your enemies, but not so much a tree. But yeah, she. Feel free to take what you need from the caravans and the tents. And then as she's talking, you see her reach her hand into her cloak, and she pulls out a card and faces the back to you, just as you guys sort of are beginning to move out, and she flips it round, showing the one of swords, and goes, "There's tools," and then tucks the card away again.
Oh my god.
And then she kind of just
How'd she
shuffles
do that?
away.
She calling me a tool?
How'd she do that? How'd she pick that up specific
Oh my
card?
god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Magic. Yeah, and then she turns away and starts tending to a kettle. Looks like she's making another batch of green tea.
I won't be rude as we go to leave. Obviously, I've not drunk my tea, so I'll just. Do I taste anything different beyond just normal green tea?
That's just good green tea.
No.
It's the kind of green tea that comes with years of experience.
Did
making
you
green
leave
tea, like,
yours?
decent.
Yeah, I'm out.
Partly drunk. Okay, I just I stand up and I go, thanks.
It's like almost scolding. It's like,
Which one's me? Is that me? Let's go stand.
That
yes.
was you. Wasn't it?
No,
No.
that's the three of them. We're
I
we're
thought that
these two.
was. Oh no, that is you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's you with the big. Even that's a mace. That's you.
Oh,
and
God,
then,
there's
and then,
minis, mate.
yeah, don't worry.
I'm printing them, don't worry.
You also did print a Cortesha mini at one point, but I don't know what's gone.
Yeah,
I
I
get
did.
the 3D
I
printer and I'll
I can't
print
remember if it
some,
was that one or not, or if that was a different one.
Ah, that was Cortasha.
That was me.
I'll
Yeah.
use that then.
There you go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's a misc person.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a wander out.
That's me.
Oh yeah.
Try again.
I'll
I'm
take a
just- I'm
wander
just
out.
chilling out.
Are you literally just standing on the outside of the tent?
Yeah, I'm just leaning against the tent.
So you fall through the tent if you're leaning
Yeah.
against it.
Oh, there's got to be something
Like-
holding up.
There'll be like some
Ridge
like
bowls
pretty
or something.
pretty thick
I'm not like full leaning. You know,
branches
just like
that are like properly
little
up.
lean, leg
This
up.
is the most secure tent in tents.
So I've chosen
This
to lean.
this is like a borderline fiberglass rod like Van Gogh
Also,
tent.
magic.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
She's an elf. She doesn't fall through.
Okay, I will. You say you don't fall, but you stacked it going into the church.
Shut the fuck up.
Watch that episode; it was hilarious. Yeah, I'll sort of come out of the tent like still trying to rack my brain of how she knew our names, how she knew you had the tasting for sort of mead and
I
everything.
mean, I am a
else.
half orc. Every half orc has the
Hey,
tasting for me.
That's stereotypical. You
but it's
don't know.
true.
That is true.
We do like a little drink.
But yeah, I'll pop out and obviously see you. Is everything all right?
Fine.
Ava's obviously said if anybody questions us, we are welcome, obviously, to be here. I think there's a tent further along that has sort of tools for lumber collection.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll start making out a mosey over to this first tent to see if that's like a store's tent of some form or whatever.
You open it up. It looks not quite a store's tent. It definitely looks like there's someone staying here, but you can see that there are like axes and things like that here as well. So you can quite easily grab one.
I'll grab a pair of axes then.
Cool.
Can I turn to Cassara?
Mhm.
I was going to say Cassandra. Cassara, before I leave the tent and walk past her, just turn to her and go, are you going to cut some fish or cut some wood? I finished your tea, it was hot.
She burnt a man.
Talking like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very hot. It hurt my mouth.
Ouchies.
Go drink some water.
Okay.
Not directly from the river. Oh no, I won't. That's too civilised. You're just head face planting, going.
Laying on your belly in the sand.
Just dipping my tongue in or going.
You doing a cat? Okay.
But yes, so you'd like to go and cut some trees,
Well,
get some
to,
firewood.
yeah, to get some stuff together.
And you're going to hunt some fish. What would Cassara like to do?
I'm gonna stand here for a while and just sort of observe, like not fully.
The camp?
Yeah, so I'm literally just looking there, just observing.
Is
Cool.
she still in my eyesight?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll
so
have to look back over your shoulder.
that's
but you
fine. Can I
use
just
your-
can I just start taking my boots off and just unpacking a few bits on the side of the river and just like step my toe in and be like
dip your little toes in?
and then start walking into the water and then just look to her and just be like and then carry on doing what I was doing.
I thought you were going to say you wave and then just
Oh, are you doing like the old Bear Grylls?
Yeah.
Sort of standing there with your
Like,
hands up.
Trousers are like
Yeah, rolled up.
rolled up,
Poor leggings.
shifted up,
Roll up.
rolled up to my knees.
Just hands in
My
water.
bare calves are out.
Oh, those
My
hairy
bare
legs.
orcish
The-
calves.
hairy, defined legs.
the green hue.
A far paler yellowy hue from not being exposed to the sun for very long.
I don't moisturise my legs anymore.
It's gone from that dark sort of yellowy green to like perhaps like quite a light one, like a light mossy colour. Damn girl! So
feel like
you
we're
take
just-
your legs out and it's just the glistening sun. You are the brightest thing in the whole entire. Damn! You need to get some sun, girl.
But yeah.
You do, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you hop on in the water. There is an abundance of fish. It's not too difficult for you to start catching them.
Do you want me to roll for something?
It'll be okay. We'll say this camp's set up
They're
here
dumb fish.
for a reason.
I can do a
It's
strength
an
check.
ideal against a fish.
It's
Do you know what? Okay, give me a strength check.
gonna be
Oh,
embarrassing.
athletics. Give me an
Oh,
athletics
Oh, you
check.
want athletics?
The speed of catching the fish, mixed with her orcish strength and her shiny calves.
You broke a nail.
You focus in. You not hone in. You
Punch yourself in the middle.
you begin to listen. You focus your senses. You sniff the surface of the water a little bit.
Just grab a rock.
You open your eyes and you see a magnificent sort of. It looks like a salmon, but it's a little bit smaller. It's not huge. You see this fish and you're like, yes. And you punch in. You feel your hand drive into it. You feel the crunch of its bones as you go in. You grab onto it. You rip it out. You look proud as anything, and you're just holding a partially cracked rock that you've just driven your fingers into. And you're like, yes!
Does she understand how
And
to
you
fish?
just catch a large rock for your very first fish that you catch.
Can I
in your
like
hands.
embarrassingly look around and just be like,
Oh no, we're still standing. Look at you. Like, the hell are you doing? Does she know how to fish? You know it's more speed and accuracy than strength.
There's just like, you look over your shoulder and you see these two stood there. You look over your other shoulder and they're just stood like just here, away from everybody
Hey,
else.
look at this barb fish.
No one's paying attention except for the one child holding a skewer gun. Thought it was a cool rock there.
can I roll again?
We'll say you've learned from your mistake. You're able
I mean,
to.
that's 19.
You managed to catch
Okay,
fish.
cool. I needed to.
Well, you're
redeem
catching
myself.
fish.
Yeah,
You
I
run
was-
off and.
Yeah, I was obviously making my way back over, but I imagine we would have had said conversation. You're gonna just hold off for a bit. So yeah, I've got felling axe and a little hatchet, so I can split it down if need be, and I will take a mosey on
Stop pushing me in the tent. I don't want to
over
Deal with your trauma.
It's too creepy.
to the edge.
There is enough trees here for you to be cutting for days. But you find some decent sized trees, something that's actually going to yield some decent woods that seems quite dry, and you get to work. Both of you are doing this for a good while. Kasara, while they're doing that, you can hear the thudding of the axe in the distance, the splashing and cursing coming from Cortesha. Mixed in with that is people joking around and seeming to just kind of have a good time around the fire, having a drink, and you can't hear exactly what they're talking about, but it sounds like they're telling stories. Like one of them's up in front of everyone, kind of being a little bit more animated and speaking, but they're like splashing wine everywhere as they do. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Horses are just around eating grass and having a good old time. Other than that, just looks like a little campsite. Just relatively okay, you know.
Still don't trust him.
You don't have to.
I'm not allowed to.
But what would Kasara like to do otherwise?
Go home. She wants to go home. She's sort of just standing there replaying over obviously what she saw and events from previous houses. Trauma. So much trauma. And this girl. So yeah, she's sort of just she's just staring at the fire and just watching everything that's ever happened. Flash in those flames.
Having war flashbacks.
Yeah, literally war flashbacks in flames. But
So-
she's got like one hand on like a dagger, and just like.
You don't realise how long you're kind of zoned out having this trip down, like almost
Trauma lane.
searching through your memories,
Trauma lane.
trying to like tackle what she said, trying to understand everything. Her general like aura is confusing enough, let alone kind of the things that you'd seen. You don't realise that you're stood here for a good 30, 40 minutes, just kind of zoned out and just sort of existing. You two are able to come back with a good amount of wood, probably majority of the night's worth. And you just come back, you're just holding on to like 7 or 8 still living, flapping fish, but you're just like, like trying to choking out these fish that you can feel dying in your arms as you're just. Both of you sort of come back at roughly the same time, and you can see Kasara kind of she is there, but she's a little zoned out. You can tell she's not in her right mind fully, but is looking over, and you guys also see kind of revelry around the campfire. Seems like you've heard it this whole time, like people exchanging stories and things like that, and having a laugh. Where would you like to go from here?
Well,
Still got a good bit of daylight, couple hours at least.
Staring.
I mean, it would make sense to go towards the fire, no?
no,
Because
I've got
we've got wood and fish.
I've got the word. I'm gonna start making way over, and I suppose Lucian being who he is, you know, he wants to, you know, he does well with people, so he's gonna probably sort of go over and sort of perhaps take a pew down by one of the what do they call it?
Vistani people?
No, the specific type of beanbags you refer to them as
Ah, yes, the
travelling beanbags.
traveller's beanbags.
Travellers beanbags, yes. Yeah, I'll go over, sort of drop the wood down next to the fire. Obviously, you want to need to dry it out a bit more, perhaps.
As you do, you notice that one of these Vistani people is actually Sawyer, sat down, and as you kind of approach and drop the wood, you can tell he's a little tipsy now. He's like, you got some wood. It's good. That's good.
intrusive thoughts. I must not make jokes.
I'm gonna walk over holding the fish.
He pops his cup down in the grass and just fish.
I also caught a rock.
Ah! What can she do? And kind of in that rouses a little bit more of these other Vistani people that are having a drink, and a couple of them just start like, not mockingly towards you, but like towards him, clapping and being like, she catch more rock than you. Kind of just silly little jokes, but they make you feel very at home. Do you take a seat?
Where can I put fish?
You should pop it down there. We'll sort that.
I'll put the fish down and then I'll just go slump down on them to see.
One of the Vistani just gets up and starts to impale them on sticks and like get them propped up over the fire and things like that. Kasari, are you still kind of like half in, half out?
She's not with us right now. She's in the fire.
Are you staying stood over there?
Literally, right. I haven't moved in like the last hour.
Because you're looking at the fire. You're thinking,
Your face is like down the sword.
I think it's right.
You're just looking at the river.
Ah, lovely water.
As you guys sit down and kind of have a bit of a chill, have a bit of a breather, one of the people that is being a little more animated and stood up and throwing their wine everywhere, when you were approaching, they had just seemed like they were just finishing telling a story, and they kind of hop up, and while stood, goes up next to you, Cortesha, hand on your shoulder, and looks over towards Kasara and goes, right there, you see? Right where she stood. That, everyone, that was where he stood that night.
Huh?
Who?
The mage. The mad one. Absolutely crazy he was. Charming, don't get me wrong, but absolutely mad. Comes walking into this camp, I tell you. Come. And he approaches and he sits down in a traveller's beanbag. It's just a mound. It's just a mound of moss.
Where's what's his face and his sister?
Path.
They're hanging around.
Okay, so they're near the fire as well.
You assume they're not near the fire. You assume they're in one of the tents.
Okay.
Big tent, any tent.
But he sort of gestures around, and you're all sat in a position where you're looking over at where Kasara is.
She blinks out of it. It's like,
And what you see is you can hear the murmuring, and you can see this Vistani person gesturing over towards you, and these two just looking at this Vistani person and then sort of like over towards you and back again. You're welcome to approach if you like.
nah, if they're talking about me, let them talk about me.
He goes, right there. He walks into the camp, dressed in fabulous garb. He didn't have a hat. Did think that was weird. But you could tell he was a wizard from the staff that he was carrying. And the marvellous spells he weaved. Fireworks are shooting off. He created the fire from thin air. But he spoke of revolt. You are aware of the devil Strahd.
We've heard of his name a few times.
This mage stormed their castle, gathered up the people of Barovia, Valaki, tried to get some Vistani in there as well, and he marched up to that castle of his, and they stood there, right in front of his gates. Most of the people ran in fear, to be fair, but a few did stay, though they wouldn't see another day after that one. They were slaughtered, and trust me, I saw this with my own eyes. This was now a year ago. And what I saw was marvellous. They were slinging their spells, they were clashing swords against staff. I saw the boulders rip from the very mountains and crash on top of him, and by his magic he survived. I saw the bolts of lightning rip from the skies themselves across him, something that would tear the entire woods asunder, and yet he lived. But he did not live when Strahd fell upon him. They fought from their courtyards to the tops of the castle, through the forests, right up to the waterfalls. And at that point, I see him, the mage. I think marvelous, flying in the air, hovering above these falls. And then I think he shouldn't be surrounded by a red mist. And I watch as he falls, descends, thousands of feet, right into the bottom of the ravine. And being a entrepreneurial type, I decided to go down there and see what valuables he had on him, that kind of stuff. But the river washed his body away, taken away the memory of the revolt and the passion that any of those that stood toward Strahd along the road. But he was stood right there, pointing over at Kasara again. Marvelous, isn't it? And someone so powerful can be stood in our camp and they can die, but we still here fighting. Good time. Anyone for some fish?
Fish
And
is
just
good.
pops up, grabs a skewer, and just starts munching away. While that's happening, a few of the other Vistani are sat there. One was like, "You told it wrong. He wasn't wearing fancy garb, and he did have a hat. I don't remember what the hat was, but he had a hat or hair.
Hat hair.
Pretty sure it was a hat. Crazy hair." One of the children just comes running up and is just like, big, fluffy, big beanbag.
Beanbag hair.
Beanbag head.
Mm.
Yeah. It's the same kid that saw you with the Rockies. Just beanbag head. And their conversations just shift onto various other things, talking about how good the food is, the fish.
Is there any drink?
There's like little kegs of wine around.
I'm just gonna. What's the name of the guy with the cart? I keep forgetting his name.
Sorvia.
Sylvia. Can I gesture to one of the kegs? If there's one next to him.
Gives it like a little jingle and you hear the sloshing. And yeah. And he hands it over, gives you like a little wooden mug. It's not bad
Cute.
wine, you know. It's not great, but it's definitely not bad.
What's that?
Especially for a camp in the woods.
As long as it'll get me half cut, I don't care.
It'll get you there. Yes.
I think with all this commotion sort of dissipating, I'm now going to turn to Sylvia and go, bear with me, just going to go alleviate myself.
Of course, yes.
I'll get up and start making my way around here, probably to the end of this tree line, and then deviate from what I was going to say, what I was going to do. And I'm actually going to start, because I've only ever looked around here, to quite rightly, we've been here for an hour or so and not seen the people we were being employed by. So whilst they are being entertained by your amazing
Fish catching.
fish
skills.
catching, but not only that, the stories you must have as well. You know, I will come off and so these are wagons, you said, and I'm guessing these are where the horses would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I'm sort of walking around the back here, looking at the back of this caravan, is it open? Is it closed? Is it sort of like a cloth-based caravan, or is it more
it's
like a gypsy
cloth
caravan?
one,
or-
it's got the arch over the
Yeah.
top. You can just open it up, but it's about chest height. Has like a wooden sort of wall that's about a foot tall, and then it's like the fabric mesh, so it can store either people or
Yeah, oh,
like
good.
crates and
Yeah.
things like that. It's not like open, but it's not like tight shut or anything. You could easily just have a little peek.
So yeah, literally it'd just be as I'm sort of walking by, like as if I'm going towards the bush line, I will just sort of flick as I go by.
You see small crates in there, like a foot across kind of size. Nothing too huge, nothing like storing food or anything like that. But more like holding trinkets kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'll then
Trinky.
sort of continue on my way down. I imagine this sort of time now, it has started to get quite dim lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do
You
the same.
can't see.
Well, In dim light, my
He's just
vision
there
is
like,
my vision is severely limited somewhat. Hence why
You can
I'm.
see in front of you.
I can see 10 foot in front. That's about it.
you know that thing that rather than reach with your hands, you reach with your foot in the dark. You're doing that.
Oh no, I'm
Like,
straight
tap-
hand first.
Tap your foot.
Anybody there?
You having a little scan around of the second one. It looks relatively similar, but this one's much more spaced apart.
Yeah.
Like there would be things have been taken out of this one substantially. You do see one overturned crate that's got a few leather and cloth pouches in it. Can't see what's in them, but they're relatively decent sized.
Yeah, no, like I say, and I'll continue round to then. Obviously, we don't know that they're if they there are there or not.
You can hear them
Oh, okay.
in the tents.
I will. Well, there's not such of a door, but I will just go. Hello.
Flap it open.
As I sort of a hand comes through and starts moving, just in case obviously people are indecent.
Ismarks sat there, just like cross-legged with his sword sort of in between his legs, poking into the ground, and he's like resting his chin on the pommel, and just sat there. He looks almost like he's drifting off, and you can see Irina is passed out on a bedroll in the tent, and you can tell he's like trying to stand guard essentially, and you can hear Irina muttering as she kind of turns a little bit, muttering things here and there, and whenever she does, Ismarks sort of sat there going, "It's all right, Irina, it's all right, man." And just trying to be supportive, trying to be a good brother.
Trying to be a bit soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll move the tent flap to one side and sort of walk into the tent itself.
As you do, yeah. He acknowledges you. You're okay, listen.
Yeah, not bad. You look tired, mate.
Of course.
There's plenty of fish by the campfire.
Well, I'll go out in a little bit.
It's
I'll
fine.
make sure that she gets some sleep.
I've eaten. I can stand guard if you wanna go and grab some food. They've actually got quite a lot out there. Meat skewers,
With the
and
curtains
fish.
open, it's like,
yeah, meat skewers and fish. It's fine. Go on.
he takes that a little bit of persuading that he eventually gives, and it's like, "I'll pop back in a moment," and he scurries off. You guys see him not run out, but he kind of like speed walking, half asleep, like hunched over, like running over. He greets Cortesha.
And I put my arm on his shoulder and be like, "You okay, bud?
"I'm so tired and hungry."
Eat some food."
And then, as soon as that
I
happens,
caught it.
there's Wonderstani just like grabbing a skewer of fish and just passing it over. It's like, "Eat your fill, eat your fill."
Fish,
And he
fish,
just sits
fish,
down and
fish,
starts
fish.
munching. Kasara,
Hello.
you good?
Yeah. So, gonna put my head back in the tent. Is she still in there?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Gonna go back in.
Yep.
Round 2.
More trauma.
Yay! We love a backstory.
Oh, we do, honestly. I've been waiting for this one. So, just gonna go back in and sit back down in the middle seat. What was that?
I say, my dear, your past, maybe your present, and a possible future.
Yes, but you know what that is. You know what you showed me. So what was it?
Madame Ava knows. Kasara, you must learn.
No, you can't just tell me. Yes. You can't just tell me. Yes.
No, you see, she goes back to the bulls. Like, if I tell you, it changes now. So what is to come could be good or very bad.
Will the cards tell me anything different? Or will it show me the same things?
They will show you the path ahead.
That was bullshit. Bring out the cards.
She pulls them out.
Oh.
Bye, right?
You're dead.
fans them out in front of you and gets you to draw a few different cards. The first card you draw is five of swords. It is similar. It will be hard choose.
Great.
Another. You draw a second card. So it's the 10 of stars. Okay. Your path may be different to your friends. The accent has changed wildly. Would you get the idea?
Hey, it's not gone Borat yet, so you're safe.
Isn't that? But you will meet somebody. Yes. Well known. Could be good, could be bad. It could be a good experience for you. And another.
Fuck's
You
sake.
give me.
Oh no.
Can you give me an insight check?
It's so bloody long since we've done that. Just done it.
It's
Thank
still,
you.
yeah.
You just need a d20. And then add whatever.
18.
Oh,
it's not
18.
too
Too bad.
You draw.
Oh god.
You draw a card that has no name on it, no number, but it's got what looks like it's an image of like two upper bodies, but the like flip side. Do you know what I mean? Head here,
Oh, joint in the middle.
shoulders, and then they join in the middle, and then for the other person they're upside down, like coming up to
Like
the
a
shoulders
playing
and then the
card.
head,
Oh,
Think
yeah.
like Gemini.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that. But they're both like cloaked figures, but you see one of them's got just like a kind of generic face of somebody female, and the other one is a skeleton underneath. She draws that one. You see, this is a card of choices. You are going to have big decisions. They will come to you. You will know when they are there. And it depends on those choices as to whether or not you are. She gestures to the card where it's got the young woman towards the top. Yes, whether you are these, and she flips it upside down, or these. But you will know when they come.
So you're still not telling me anything?
I am telling you that you have a choice that will be
Need.
a choice that will be needed.
Sorry, it was giving me Tom Hanks Terminal vibes.
Yes.
Oh! That's the.
Okay.
So it's all Tom Hanks on it.
Brilliant. Rubs her neck. And then goes, is there anything else that you were going to tell me? Great.
You have fate on your side.
That's so helpful. Well, this was as useless as the first time. And she gets up and she goes to leave.
Okay.
Should I just leave? Is she not? Okay, I'm just leaving then.
She just, as you walk out, if you look back, she's just watching you intently.
Just with her one eye.
With one eye just like,
A mad eye.
I'll go out to the fire and just sit down.
you are quickly swept up in people drinking and eating.
Generalised chit chat.
Quite quickly,
Can-
one of them you just get a stick of fish thrown in
Can
front
I-
of you, and then
yeah,
a
can I be like,
glass
"Hey,
of wine, or a mug of wine.
fish!"
I'm just gonna pass it over.
It's just a
Hey!
collection of Vistani.
Fish?
When you do that, go
Fish.
Fish!
It's just what happens.
You
That's
can
what
just
you
hear this.
hear in the distance. You're pretty sure you hear Ismark going, "Fish!" Yeah. I think we'll leave it there for today.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
With a little sprinkling of trauma and a lot of fish.
Fish!
Kind of want to eat some fish now, though.
See you next week.
Fish!
Fish!